All right. Well, it's been a weird week so far, I'm sure, for everybody. And I just thought I wanted to get the hey, Michael, what is up? That is the question. Um, but I think everybody's been going through some stuff, so I figured we'd come on here and have a little fun. And I had to actually work on fixing the software, as you saw. Like I went live on like several different uh, platforms, just trying to figure out what was wrong. Not sure if I figured it out, but it was working at last check. So if it looks clear, just let me know, and I'd appreciate it. This is more or less really just trying to work out some of the bugs, and for me to get a jump on some of those commissions that I was working on. Hey, Michael, I'm glad you could make it. I mean, we're all in this together. So, and everybody's been doing some really cool stuff. Doing streams. My buddy Rich Wentworth is streaming like video games, and he's doing DJing stuff. I saw Aaron Lopresti doing some really cool streams. But yeah, I'm just gonna start with a really like just simple. These are about a third of a page, and I've been doing these, in between stuff because they go by real quick, and I'm one of those people that works on momentum, and it really helps if I just finish something, even if it's small. Um, just to finish it. And I'm going to be bouncing back and forth and just looking back at my screen. So if you see an interruption in the drawing, that's because I'm just making sure that it still looks clear and that everybody can see it. But just going to start with a really simple Batman. People seem to like him. You know, thinking about using that. Not quite big enough. So, people that are looking for the stream I did with Jay, I moved it over to YouTube. So if you hop over to my YouTube page, there was a little too much yucking around and profanity to just leave it up for anybody on the old Facebook. So, but yeah, we're safe. My wife is here. We're got our groceries. We got our cat staring at us confused because we're actually home all the time. Um, but we'll make it work. I've seen all those memes going around of like artists being at home all the time, which is true. But I think that some of our sanity was kept by having the option. Like we choose not to goof off outside all the time. But I still like to go for walks and stuff. I haven't been because it's supposed to be social distancing, and it's a pretty popular neighborhood for people to walk around in. So, and I don't have a dog that has to go out. So. Oh, well, that's very, very nice of you, Michael. Thank you. And thank you for keeping it. And, I'm really glad that you like it. And, I just want to make some stuff that make people happy and that they enjoy. And now since I've been doing these streams again, it's been good. People have been really supportive and very nice about it. So just having a good time. I've been talking to local comic stores. I've been volunteering if they need anything, or if I can help with anything, if they want sketch covers or whatever, if it can help them get people through the door, I'm happy to do them. The only version of Batman I've ever been published is the animated series version, so mine kind of looks like a messier version of that. Hey Joe, good to see you, man. I know you're associated with a comic book store. Just as I volunteered at a couple of other stores. If I can do sketch covers or if I can do anything to help, like I've been pointing people to buy gift certificates at places. If there's anything I can do to help you guys out, I know you're going to be taking a hit when we can't go just hang out and go through dollar bins at random. So let me know, happy to help you and Jay out. You guys have always been very, very kind to me over the years, and I'm happy to help Rubber Chicken Comics in Bellingham. But, just going to do the simple Batman sketch. The first one after this is going to be the first one on my sketch list, which is, you can see it on my page. Anybody that gets a sketch, you'll be on the list, and as I finish it, I'll post it right underneath in the comments, and you'll be able to see as soon as yours are done. Happy to help, man, if I can. Seriously, don't hesitate. You guys always carry the tick stuff and everything, and you've always been very nice to me, so. Let's see, the light source is over here. I've also just been having some trouble finishing stuff, so thanks, man. Yeah, this will be the freebie, so if you like and you comment, I'll use the random number generator to pick one of the commenters and mail this puppy out. It's just been very weird out, so I'm very happy to see there's people in. People are being safe, so I hope everybody's doing well, everybody's healthy, washing your hands 10 million times. My hands are cracking from how much I've been washing them. But I think everybody's doing okay. That's the middle of the face, that's the top of the head. Hey, thanks, Jesse. I think I've spent most of my last few days just kind of worrying about stuff, and I also just wanted to get out of my own headspace, and I've really been enjoying everybody else's art streams, so I want to pitch in and help out. There's also all kinds of cool stuff going on. I know that the Dropkick Murphys have a live free concert tonight, so if folks want to check that out. Some of the operas and stuff are doing free performances. I think it's the Met that's got them going. I did hear that they're talking about having. Yeah, Ken, that's you, man. Thank you very much for getting it. It's very, very supportive, and my wife and I greatly appreciate it. And we'll get it done. And not sure if it'll get in the mail tomorrow, but yours, along with the last couple of giveaways, I'll have them packed up and ready to roll as soon as we can get to the post office. I don't have a scale, so. Hey, that's cool, man. It's a St. Patty's Day tradition in these parts, so I completely understand. I'm sure my buddy Jay is all over that stuff. I always kind of like the early Alan Davis Batman from Batman and the Outsiders. I always thought that was a cool version. Yes, Doug, this is the one. Thanks for sticking through. It was just trying to get the bugs out. I just updated the browser and turned off a couple of things, and here we are. And it looked clear on my end. So if it looks good on your end, just let me know. And I'm just trying to get everything working correctly so that I could just hop on and do these quicker, and it's less stressful. There've been plenty of times I've been wanting to do one of these, and it's just like, oh, gotta just go straight through Facebook because I can't figure it out. Yeah, my buddy Jay is at like every concert of that every year on St. Patrick's Day. I don't. He's probably hard up. Somebody might need to check on him. But that's cool. Flogging Molly. What am I using for my camera? It's a Logitech, I believe, 1080 HD. I got it on Amazon like a year or so ago, like $100. The only thing that I don't like about it is that autofocus. It makes a noise when you guys are watching, and there's apparently no way to get rid of the noise. So, if we all survive the apocalypse and I make a few bucks, I will get a different camera that doesn't make that noise. I'm sorry about that. I honestly tried everything I could. I looked everywhere on how to fix it. Thanks, Danny. And it's not an expensive camera. It's, I don't have tons of money to throw around on this kind of stuff. Thankfully, a friend of mine loaned me a tripod. Biggest upgrades were buying a lamp. Like stand. It's on like a bendy arm that has a lamp attached to it. That seems to, people have told me that the lighting is better than it used to be, so that's good. Because before I was just taping it to my desk lamp. That's why I felt like a complete fraud when I was doing that stuff before. As I was literally coming back, and it would be a camera taped to my lamp. I'd be like, hey, check out these cool videos. This is just a simple bust. I'm not going to go too crazy with it. I do think I am going to add the moon. I'm trying to think of a way that would fit the shot better. If I had a bigger circle. It's about the same size. Oh, thanks, Mike. And I'm almost done with Planet Comic stuff for Jeff. And as soon as that's done, I'll be working on stuff for you. And that'll be just a little bit later this week. I'm glad we've got the thing, got the layout picked out. So I'll be diving into that as soon as I finish that stuff for Jeff. Any big exciting projects? I'm doing a cover for Mike there. Working on a pitch with Jeff for a horror piece. Working on my creator-owned stuff. There's talk of more Tick stuff. We'll see what happens. They seem pretty excited about stuff. Hopefully things go forward because they usually do, convention specials and everything's, kind of on hold like everything else. At least for me it is. I know a lot of guys have their work booked months and months out, but I don't. And that's one of the reasons I had to ask folks for commissions, and I was very, very fortunate that some people that I've met over the years jumped in and got some commissions, and it was very, very helpful. And I'm very thankful and grateful, and hopefully draw some cool stuff for people. And it's always fun when somebody asks you to draw something. Oh, thanks, Kurt. Kurt's one of those nice folks. I'm going to be drawing Terex for him, and that's going to be very fun. I always liked him in the Silver Surfer comics and Fantastic Four. Oh, thanks, man. I love working on the character, and I think it's just a matter of, things returning back to closer to normal and things as we know them. And I think they'll put some more books out. It's the character I've done the most interior pages for. That's that people have heard of. So, and I grew up loving the character, so it worked out for me at least. And I have a lot of fun at shows when people talk about the Tick, and because he's local to Massachusetts, I meet people that knew Ben and his family. I'm just using a really that same rough kind of soft brush that Pitt puts out, the Faber-Castell ones. Use a slightly more dynamic line than just the pens. And the cod, yes. I actually was just talking about the cod with NEC. I'm always trying to get him to bite on that cod ongoing series, that one that like only me would read. But I do find it funny how much Sean Long is I think he's kind of weirded out by how much I enjoy that character because he created the character. And he's another artist that's local, and I think he's also taking commissions at this moment. And I have some of his artwork in my studio here. Actually, I bought over the years. I had to get a Cape Cod from him, and I got a Tick and Arthur from him years ago. Yeah, and I wish I could get up to Rubber Chicken more. Bellingham's just a little far for me. It's a great store, though. And you do good work too, Joe, man. Don't sell yourself short. Need more Rubber Chicken Comics presents in my life. Space Chicken. one's dying. I'm just trying to get the last little bit out of it. I grew up with the Adam West, watching the Adam West Batman, actually with my mother. Nick at Night was on there with Linda Carter, Wonder Woman, and I think Lost in Space was on there. I got the big news in town. That's the hey Brendan, no worries. Good to see you. Thanks for saying hi. I've got your sketch packed up. Been running around like crazy with work, so things haven't been super normal, but still want to get everything out to everybody and keep making some fun stuff. Obviously, when you see Jay and I on a stream together, if you caught that one, there's a lot of back and forth, a lot more joking around, just because that's how we've done conventions together for, since 2008. I think we've been doing conventions together, whether it was splitting tables or just giving each other a ride because we live near each other. Everybody have something good for dinner? I do believe that is the sound of my cat throwing up in the hallway. Hey Dustin, yeah, I mean, I'm going to keep the list open. You'll see exactly where you are on the list, and I'm going to stream as many of the sketches as I can because we're all going to be inside, and I think people like seeing their stuff being worked on. But we'll see. It also makes it so I don't have to come up with all the drawing topics for each video. Oh, it is a great sound, Jonathan. Yes, the sound of Penny horking in the hallway. It's truly magical. Hopefully Camille will get it, otherwise it's going to have to wait until we're done. It's okay. Although Penny's gotten better as far as like his nighttime craziness. He used to be a lot crazier. We used to actually have a metal door to a closet in our bedroom, and he used to like bat at it at night. and he knew it woke us up, and he would do it when he was very, of course, starving, because it's not like we don't feed him like piles of food every day. What's keeping everybody sane? You guys playing video games or tiddlywinks or solitaire? I was playing some Donkey Kong earlier. That was very fun on my original Nintendo. Dustin, that sounds concerning. Very loud, running up and down the stairs. My parents used to have a cat that would like get up on the kitchen table and like howl at night. Very bizarre. He was a strange cat. Castlevania, nice. Original Castlevania, Michael, or are you talking like one of these new fancy ones, like that the kids play, the young folk? Hey, Connie. Original NES, nice, nice. Hopefully you guys are hunkered down and safe. Hey, Jerry. I'm just glad everything is working. Obviously, I've been fighting the restream a little bit lately, and it seems to be my browser. I didn't update it or something. I don't know. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, just been fighting it for the last few streams. That's why we've had to go straight through Facebook and then upload it to all the other platforms, which is a pain in the rear. And I'm just filling in some stuff, just being silly, I guess. Favorite Bat Family character? I do really like Batwoman as far as the Bat Family goes. I like a lot of the villains. I like Mr. Freeze quite a bit. I also like some of the goofy ones. I like Egghead from the old series that was played by Vincent Price. I don't know. I like Two-Face. How about you? Yeah, Babs is great. Barbara Gordon. Do you prefer Batgirl or Oracle or? Riddler's a good villain. Old Frank Gorshin on the original series. Making a little battle damage, like he's been out fighting crime instead of looking pristine like Adam West usually did. Yeah, I just think she's a cool character. I agree. She's very cool. I read some of the early Birds of Prey stuff. I did. I liked it. A lot of interesting ideas. I also like Gotham Central. That was a pretty interesting book. Just different things to do in the Bat universe. I did have to run out today, and it was a little weird, but everything worked out. See if I got my fine pen here. There we go. I mean, who are some of your favorite artists that draw the bad characters? Like, I've always enjoyed like the Jim Farrow stuff. Talked about Alan Davis earlier. I liked the Lovely Weeks' stuff. Neil Adams. Yeah, traffic has been like, although I still see a bunch of folks, going over the bridge anytime I'm outside. So it's probably people just going to that grocery store over there, though, or the bank. Well, the bank was pretty empty today. Yeah, it's a pretty weird week. Yeah, I would say we should go get a pint, but you know, is there an app during this that's kind of like ordering a pizza for someone that can like deliver a pint to somebody? I would imagine that's illegal around here, but you met Neil once, so it was not a good experience. I've heard that. I have a Neil story that I've said many times. Brayfogle was terrific because he was doing Batman, when I was a kid. I actually remember one Scarecrow cover that he did. Maybe it was the first new Robin that came out at the time, but that was a really cool cover. Like Batman's like hanging upside down. Now, one thing that I try to do, yeah, Mandrake was great. Yeah, anything with heavy shadows, like when he taps into that, I love it. I've liked his stuff going back to like Grimjack back in the 80s. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and he deserves a ton of credit for everything he did for creators like Siegel and Schuster and everything. Yeah, the first time I went to New York, I had like $20 in my pocket to get something to eat. And that was when I was going for the first time to like beg for work. Now my portfolio was terrible, but you want to get reviews so you can get better and stuff like that. Hey, thanks, Rob. It's a little fun sketch, a little warm up. Helps me get used to being on the stream and gives me something I can give away even when I'm doing stuff for other people. So, I think it works out for everybody. Whose stuff do I still need to plug? I know that the Electric Black Kickstarter is still going on, but I think most of you guys have supported it. Some regular faces here. The people that are going to get it on here are probably going to get it, but if you haven't seen it, you like horror stuff, it's a lot of fun. But just keeping it loose on this Batman sketch. We'll tighten it down on the next piece we're doing. I'll let it dry just a little bit. But the next one we're doing is going to be that Raph Tick piece, and it's going to be on the 2019 Tick San Diego blank cover. Now see, this page I can tell you about while that's drawing was not originally in the story. When I was reading through it, Jeff's a terrific writer, but sometimes we only have so many pages. And there was a point where I asked him like what he thought the biggest like visuals were, and I told him what I thought they were, and I just thought that the coolest thing was when Chairface Chippendale's castle grows rockets and takes off from the moon back towards Earth. And it was originally just a small like inset panel like this, and I said, well, that's such a cool visual. Why don't we do it like a big giant splash page? And I had to send a request back to NEC. They had to figure out if they could drop an ad or if they could squeeze it in somehow. And that's what we did. They put it in, got like the tiny little tick and the two little monkeys there. But he's on the moon with some mischievous monkeys, and it's a very fun issue. So. That story will actually be in the new Free Comic Book Day issue. I think that's all we're going to do on the sketch. It's just a fun little sketch. Just take that. There we go. And if you liked and commented, I'll use the random number generator, pop this in an envelope, and send it to one of you. So it was just a small little third of a page Batman. These I do in my binder, and I sell them for like $20. But it will come for free. I'm gonna grab some scratch paper. Move our inking stuff. As you can see, I have the googly eyes. Googly eyes on the whiteout. Or googly eyes. Oh, thanks, Shane. But here's how I do on a sketch cover, you can't really use a light box to do cleaner artwork. So what I try to do is just do a quick warm up and then figure out a layout. I don't always like to have characters fighting, and the tick isn't usually fighting, but some people don't like it too goofy. With the tick, I would try to think of something like maybe they're both. I have a caption in mind. I try to put a joke on many of these. Because it's also a cover, so you're trying to think of it like a cover, or at least I try to. And rule of thirds. You want to make sure you can see both characters. Now, this isn't the most exciting part. I should have it all planned out, like a professional beforehand, but unfortunately, that's not the case. And because it's Raph, he's going to be kind of cranky, and That's how I look at it, Doug. I think you can do anything, but like if I were to draw a Raph and a tick trying to like eat soup, like which is how I would probably that's probably like how I would do it, is I would have them both eating soup, and because Raph has size and the tick has spoons, the tick is eating the soup better than Raph is. But that's not usually what people like in the comics. If I were doing the sketch cover for Jeff, the writer, I would absolutely have Raph and the tick eating soup. Not sure how I feel about this. It's also tough to fit like full figures onto a sketch cover, because at least for me it is, because you end up drawing them, smaller, and you want to give people. I mean, the caption that I came up with was only a turtle would bring a fork to a spoon fight, and he has the size, which the tick thinks are forks. So that's my joke idea. I came up with it just before I came on here. So, but I'm not sure if I'll finish coloring it on the stream, but we'll take it as far as we can go before I get tired. The other thing is the tick is much, much taller than all the turtles. Much, much bigger. See, I would have the soup here. It'd be soup. I don't know, I'm getting into the soup idea, but I think I got it chalked out for the most part. One arm up here. Arm down here. Funny quote. Disappointed Arthur if we have room for it. Solve that with the camera perspective. I don't know what you mean. I know that they de-age the actor, as it were. He's done a couple of movies I've liked over the years, and I think it is actually 2 movies. I always liked The Color of Money, which is a Martin Scorsese flick that has Paul Newman in it, and I always liked. If you don't like Cocktail, you don't like 80s movies. Sorry. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, that's true. I could have Raph standing on a box or with like a foot tall lifts on his shoes. We could do that. But this gentleman has been waiting for this sketch for a little while, so we want to make it nice. Lots of detail. Should probably be in the sewer, right? He should be in the sewer. I don't know why they'd need a. Anytime I think of the turtles, I think of the old action figures with the gnashing teeth. They all had like one side of the mouth or both sides of the mouth where they had their teeth like they were grinding them. I think I have one here. Yeah. Yeah. I always think of the teeth on the one side. This is original 80s, bought at um, probably a department store when I was a kid. A lot of my friends have commissions that they're offering and Kickstarters going. And if you're able to help them out, I know that artists are losing gigs, so just take a peep around Facebook. Most of the people that are here are real active or they're artists, so you folks already know. Occasionally my uncle or actually oh, thanks Eli. Long day with the kiddos, feeding the chickens. I don't know if you can really see the blue pencil at this point, so I'm just trying to get through it so you guys can get to the interesting stuff. I don't normally do it on Tuesdays, but I've been trying to get the software working right, and for the moment, it is working. But I'm glad you're seeing this one, Eli, because it's on Restream, and this is hopefully when we do our jam session, how we'll be able to be on all the different channels at once. Because right now we're on Twitch, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on all the different platforms, and that's kind of that was the idea when we started doing these again, and for some reason, like just the last couple haven't been working so well. Right now I'm just kind of chunking it out, still trying to get the silhouettes and the composition. Because remember, if you did the rules of 3, you got one character here, one here. Right about here we need something of interest. I'm going to drop this hand down so it fits the grid better. One here, one here, one here, one here. Those are the connection points on that rule of 3 grid. Boom, 2, 3, 4. And this one up here will actually have our caption. And that's why it'll work, hopefully. And I think we're going to have, like I said, our light source here. We're going to have like the edge of the sewer there so that we can just kind of fake doing the bricks and stuff. So it gives us a texture on the background, and it gives us some scale. And we can have some tiny little bricks back here, and we can have some bigger bricks up here. And it'll kind of pull us together, and we can add some sewer pipes and stuff that fit the composition. We just don't want it to get too busy. But with the tick being so much taller than a Ninja Turtle, I'm having to have the tick kind of leaning forward, and you know, I don't know if they ever explained to you how to draw a tick's chin based on Ben's stuff. I always treated it kind of like a boot. You know, it's kind of like shaped like a boot. With like a neck glued to it. Like that's kind of how I've always treated it. We might be able to fit Sad Arthur here. I always like to add to the titles whenever I can. I just think it looks cool. That's about where his big shoulders would be. You're going to be able to see his traps almost connecting to his neck muscles and his back muscles because of how much he's leaning forward. Instead of here, I'm going to bring, like I said, with that grid. For those that can't see, oh, thanks, Eli. Yeah, got Restream to work, so it should look better. At least that's the hope. For those that can't see, he has a spoon in each hand. Actually, this side he's doing kind of like the Wolverine spoons between his fingers. And on this side, he just has one that he's like tapping Raph on the head with. I'm just going to say tap, tap. At this point, because it's a sketch cover, I can't go too much in with the blues because it's a little harder to erase. So there will be more pencil work. With the tick, you kind of throw out the window a little bit of a normal anatomy, especially with the shape of his head. At least I always have. And Ben told me I drew a good chin, Ben Edlund, so I will take that as the praise that I'm doing okay with it. And if you look over the years, different artists that have drawn the tick, like his head just changes shape all the time. And when they told me to look at old tick comics, the first time I drew the tick, I actually basically just swiped what the original Ben Edlund one looked like in the first few issues. And they actually told me to look further ahead towards the end of the run and into Eli's run and into Sean Wong's run for like how they wanted him to look in current comics. Like I said, from this angle, you're going to see a little bit of the back of the trap and some of his back muscle because he's leaning forward so much. But thanks for everybody for coming in. And thank you to my one Twitch watcher currently. Anytime I get a couple over there, I get happy because that's our new thing, was being over on different platforms. We always did the Facebook stuff going back to, I was just taping the camera to the mirror. I always try to add a little bit more of a bend to one of the antennae. If you notice, that's something that a lot of the artists did. Ben did it. I think you did it too, Eli. I think you would have one antenna usually that was moving even more than the other one. Like they wouldn't be moving in unison, so that it was a little more dynamic. For anybody watching that don't know, Eli Stone, he's another local artist that worked on the Tick right after Ben did on the Looney Bin stuff. He did Big Blue Destiny. I don't know if you did the any of the Heroes of the City stuff. Not sure. I do tend to warn people on these Tick sketch covers that, if I think of a funny joke, it's usually the direction I go in. Even if it doesn't completely make sense. That's kind of what I'm going with here, so. This is going to be sad, Arthur. Need some water. Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons I wanted to do this was just so I could try to get some more focus today. Last couple of days, I just haven't had the focus. I've been able to do what I've had to do, but you know, if you're an artist and you're only doing the minimum, it's tough to get everything done. Especially if you pencil ink and color all your own stuff, for the most part. Draw Raph as angry as I can make him look, because he's having the tick has his other hand over here with the other spoon. He's tapping. Oh, thanks, Eli, and thanks for the background. I didn't know you did the sculpting. That's very cool. We're all hunkered down, so artists are gonna stick together. And I appreciate you popping in and supporting me. It's very nice of you. I know you got a million things going on. Once we get to the ink, I'm sure. I mean, I could try turning off one of the lights or making it a little more indirect. Is that better? A little less light, actually. Tap, tap. My turtles are kind of a combination of the TMNT animated ones and the original ones. Every time I draw them again, I see more elements of the. I should rephrase, because if I say the original ones, people are gonna think just the comic book, the Mirage comic book. It's closer to the cartoon show. Like the two cartoon shows are like blending into one, at least in how I draw them. But thankfully, these are characters that I've drawn enough to where I'm not going to need a ton of pencil to get the ink going. I'm really just getting the tubes and the shapes overall. silhouettes down. This is what I hate about sketch covers right here, when you get to the edge. I guess that's why most people just kind of stick to the middle. You'll just draw heads or whatever and then just have the if I were to add like even more stuff, it would be like more lettering. I'd want it to be like a busy Bronze Age 70s cover where we've got the little circle where Arthur pops in at the bottom saying, "Where are my spoons?" And I would have to be like, mystery. Over here it'd be like action. Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, either one of us can draw Arthur, you can draw. I think it would be appropriate for you to take the blue guy. Or if there's something else you want to draw, we can draw something else. We could go. We could go for. We could go full Audubon and just go outside and draw the chickens on like giant life-size paintings. I don't know how we get them in camera or if they'd be in focus, but I think that's what the people want. Giant paintings of chickens. Done to scale with appropriate and accurate depictions. Although I will say at the little art show I did, if I do that in the future, I might have to draw some like superheroes or some local scenes, just because people were asking about it, and maybe even just come up with like a quick little cartoon strip with one of my characters. I like the idea of having them in the sewer, so go like this. Let's add some light sources. These can be spotlights coming down. We'll have a third one that comes down here and actually goes off the page. So we'll actually have hard light here and here, and we'll just do some like light bricks in there, and then we'll darken the rest of it. The rest of it will be blacked out because it'll be underground. I think here, just because we want to make sure people know that it is, in the sewer, I think we actually do need to have just some pipes. Even though they look like they're out of place a little bit, I think it helps sell that they're in the sewers. Maybe one of those little wheel things. And then we should probably just add a couple here just to be safe. Although if we have the and Raphael there, we have that come down like this. That. don't have to be super accurate. You just got to ballpark it a little bit. Kind of know that your horizon line is about here, and just eyeballing it, it's going to be about here. When you swing it down, and you're going to see the top of these. Keeping it in perspective, you're going to see the top of these pouches that Raph has on his belt. And Raph has a crack on his shell. That's the one thing I always try to remember. If you look at Ben Bishop's, he does like a very exaggerated crack on his. It's like a big gash on the side, which I think is very cool. But we're going to draw some different characters too. It's like I said, I got Tarek's got someone that asked for a Aquaman and Mira, which I will enjoy as being my favorite DC characters. I like Aquaman more than Batman, it's true. I think my buddy John Lucas would draw a pretty darn good Tick. I got a lot of talented friends. I think Craig would do a good Tick. I bought Nate a Tick from Nate, I think. Either that or he just did one for me. Joe St. Pierre drew some cool Ticks. Who wouldn't? I mean, it's okay. You don't have to pick sides. In a Tick comic, first off, Nickelodeon's never going to let this happen in a real comic book. Second off, in a Tick comic, I think it's safe to say that something funny will happen, and we'll all be winners. I think that pretty much shows you where the overall piece is going. You can see like the tops of all of his muscles and his neck and everything. Let's just get to it. I'm going to start with because my hands have been a little shaky today, so I'm going to just start with a pen, because these are characters that people generally want a little tighter. In this case, he's got like this tiny little nose, the Tick does. And I've always drawn it shapes. Like the original one, Ben had like this big long Tick nose, and then Barry had the big long Tick nose. But if you zoom in real close, like his eyes are like this big. I try to look at it as like a little pyramid, a little nose. So it actually is kind of like a tiny human nose. Some people draw him with like no nose whatsoever, and I just can't visually. Like to me, the nose is like a benchmark and a face to help me figure out the rest of it. And when I see people who draw characters with no noses, I tend to get a little lost in it. I used to do little bumps, and I switched to the like discs on the side of his head. After sitting next to Ben at San Diego one year, he was basically like, "You gotta have the discs," because he still does free sketches for people at the San Diego show all the time. He was not at the booth last year for the first time in years, but he had a ton of stuff going on with trying to get the Tick TV show back on. I mean, I've been watching more. Hey, Desiree, and I'll draw your sketch on here too. I was glad to hear that you're going to be commuting from home. That's good news. Or working from home when you post. And I know you're a big fan, Desiree. I don't know if you met Eli Stone. He's an artist that worked on the Tick a long time, and he's hanging out with us tonight too. So I know you've known Bob for many years, at least a few years. Sometimes I like to exaggerate the yelling. I think you've got the winning comment there, Desiree, for sure. Root for Arthur's face. Obviously, you can see I spend more time on these than I do, when I'm at shows doing like the quick head sketches. It's not that I don't want them to be good. It's just that I need to be fast at those. And I've had the folks at NEC just tell me, you gotta be faster, you gotta be faster. Oh, cool, you have met Eli. Nice, you have sketches. I'm jealous. I do not have any Eli Stone original artwork. That I will need to try to remedy very soon. I mentioned it earlier. I'll be hopping back on Saturday just to work on those commissions. I'm going to work on my normal page work during the week and at night on the weekends. And I'm going to work on commissions at night during the week and during the day on the weekends. So you can get through this list of these people that were kind enough to get some, and we can get them done as quick as possible. I think I need to have a little bit more of a solid line division between the two, so I might have just a little bit of a spot shadow on the edge of his chin, and then actually on that side of his face. I want it to be a harder line so that there's a greater division between the faces, so it looks like they are at odds more. Just trying to exaggerate that stuff. I don't know if anybody notices it, but when I look at it, I like seeing that stuff. Oh, nice. I think there should be a cast shadow here, but I'm going to get to it when we get to it. So I'll make sure that we get the neck in. Again, I'm just trying to frame the face with some of the shadows. And I want people to realize that that's the edge. Because there's a plane on the front of his face. Jess, you and Ryan holding out okay? Everything good? So now you guys get to see how long I spend on these things. You know, quick convention sketches I do spend less time on. I just do. But at home commissions, we work and we try to do the best, as close to like publishable artwork as I can do. Sometimes people ask for characters that I just have a very hard time figuring out because I haven't drawn them before. I'm not always happy with the results, and sometimes I'll completely scrap it and redraw the whole thing. And, you know, people will end up paying whatever we agreed on. You know, if it's a $30 sketch and I hate it and I redraw it, I just redraw it. I'm not going to charge them for my terrible interpretation of some character that they love. My buddy Joe was giving me some inking advice, Joe St. Pierre, to not pencil it too tightly so that you have kind of like some creative energy while you're doing it. So that's kind of what I've been trying to do lately. So I'm thinking about it as I'm doing it instead of just feeling like I'm tracing over stuff. Yeah, that guy's a pretty darn good inker, so I'm gonna listen to him. But everybody has a different technique. Yeah, you guys had to go out too. I was out there today as well. Were people being civil? People being all right? Were they giving you space? Because I would say around where we were, there was not a lot of space being given. I know that's weird, but I want the shadow to like lead you over to where his eye is, and then I'll add a nice thick line on his bandana so it's not Wow, yeah, awkward. I had a guy just crawling right up my rear at the checkout. And it was just, I had to put my stuff on the belt. I went down to the end and came back to pay the cashier, and he was like basically standing where the credit card swiper was, and I hadn't even paid yet. Like he had all his groceries on the belt, and we were like shoulder to shoulder because I was just trying to pay for the groceries. And I will say the folks at the grocery store did a really great job. And they were handling the crowds really well, even at like noon on a Tuesday. It was just packed, and people were just trying to take care of themselves and their families and stuff, which is completely understandable. But he was definitely too close. And Camille said I should have told him to back off, but I didn't. At the time I was just trying to get the hell out of there and pay for my groceries. Oh, thanks, Jessica. Yeah. I enjoy doing those warm-up sketches. It really helps me get moving, and I feel better. I've like finished something, then I can go on to the next thing. But if people want to ever suggest like who to draw for the warm-up sketch, feel free. It's I just did Batman because I figured it would make somebody real happy because a lot of people like that guy. And I have drawn him professionally once, so yeah, just a regular trip to the store for that guy. But we got through it. The cashier was very nice. Young man bagging the groceries was very nice. I thanked them both profusely for putting up with the crazies like myself. Just spacing out my lettering. Ambush bug. I'm writing that one down because that's a fun one. Are they doing anything with Ambush Bug? Is he in any of the DC books? I haven't seen him in ages. Trying very hard not to make a tangent. Hey, Joe. Thank you. Normally we do these on Wednesday, but today I was just motivated to figure out what the heck was going on with the restream. And as you can see, I got it up working, so just do our normal Wednesday thing on Tuesday this week. Since we did a Saturday thing this week with Jay, and I did not raffle off the Jay drawing yet. I'm going to add that to the raffle tomorrow. Just because I didn't make it very well known that you needed to like comment or like or whatever. Let's draw Arthur next so that because I have to weave all this stuff in around his ears. His ears go off the page. It's one thing I actually really like drawing Arthur's bunny ears. I know that that's kind of dumb, but it's very fun. I find it very satisfying to draw Arthur's bunny ears. Actually, one of the recent tick artists that I really like his version of Arthur is actually Dwayne Redhead. He does a really excellent Arthur. He does a good tick too, but I don't know. There's just something about his Arthur that like he always looks kind of worried. He just kind of nails the character. At least that's how I've always seen it when Dwayne draws Arthur. Sorry, I'm not as chatty as I usually am. Just trying to do some nice work for this sketch cover. Yeah, that'll work. Just I think that's a little too big. I don't have a lot of circles floating around. My other circle template broke, so I had to buy the other one, and doesn't have any big ones, but I'll just use this. Scented candle lid. Hey, Burton. Hey, thanks for coming in. Good luck with the chores, and hope you and everybody are doing well and safe, and have a good night, man. Don't know if we're going to be able to color this one on the stream, since it's basically 3 characters, so it's taken so long. But I'll finish the line art and I'll color it tomorrow and post the finished one tomorrow. The fellow that commissioned this has been waiting for some time, so I'm trying to make it extra nice. I go through periods where I just don't have time to do any commissions, and I warn folks that, like, you know, it might be a while, but since we're inside, we're doing streams, we're gonna pump out some commissions. And hopefully they get there quickly, so I'm gonna get the work done, and you guys are gonna be able to watch it if you choose. But it'll also be on the YouTube page if you ever miss one. You can watch the old ones on my Facebook page too. I'm still new to all that stuff, so I have no idea, really. Not sure if I'm doing everything right. Like I said, you probably saw earlier, I had to do like 6 tests to get this thing going, but I'm doing the best I can. I did have to buy some more big envelopes to mail stuff to people, but I took care of that when I was at CBS a week ago. No, not a week ago, a few days ago. Sometimes when I'm working, if somebody doesn't have a live stream going, I'll hop over on YouTube, and they actually have every episode of Bob Ross on there from Bob Ross, so it's not like somebody's stealing them or anything. And I used to watch that stuff as a kid, so it's nice. It's just a pleasant background. Start to peel some of this off. I have to sure up some of the line thicknesses, especially if we're coloring this thing. Yeah, that's not the most exciting thing to watch. It'd be kind of like if Bob Ross would start off every episode by jezzoing the canvas and then waiting for it to dry. Very exciting. Back when I was taught how to oil paint, we used to stretch and gesso and do all of our own canvases. And the teacher had us doing it just because they said it taught you to respect the work that went into making that canvas before you committed to doing a painting on it. And some people were not happy about it, but I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I found it pretty relaxing, and we didn't have to use tacks. We got to use just a staple gun. And I've done both. I've done tacks and staple gun for stretching canvas. And honestly, other than the look, if you're leaving the canvas raw, just use staples. I don't think it has any effect on the elasticity, even though some people say it does. Okay, for like some of these pipes and stuff, I want them to be kind of like organic looking, flowing, because I'm drawing robots on this other project and it's driving me nuts. So I've got to do some like free flowy stuff. And you can see it's not perfect, and we'll add light into it. This is actually going to be in those 3 spotlights. There's 3 lights, 1, 2, 3, because there's 3 openings, and we're going to draw some manhole grates above them. It should look cool, hopefully. I think I'm actually going to add it. See how there's this just open space here? I'm going to add some more pipes. Just because hopefully they'll look cool. I think that'll do it. We'll do the rest with bricks. And with this being a heavy spotlight, there's not going to be a ton of rendering on there. So that one, this one is just going to be the top. Maybe we'll just add some droops coming down. Starting to come together. Don't want it to be too much of a straight line. Right. There's going to be some cast shadows over here, so that should be cool. This is that spatial relationships thing I was talking about, where this grate, this little one here, and this one are supposed to be the same, so they say something about one another with how big the grid is, how thick the lines are. So try to give it more depth by having thin lines here in this one, and then thick lines in that one. Hey Brian, Yeah, Eli's been hanging out. He told us about how he sculpted a tick head when he first started doing the tick, when he was trying to figure out how to draw him. It was pretty cool. You good? Everything good on your end? I do need a ruler. Gasp. Oh, that's so nice. You did win, and I will be mailing yours soon. Or I can just hang on to it until we do the stream. That's up to you. If you'd like it quicker, I can get it in the mail. Or if it's extra motivation for us to get this thing to happen, I'm all for that. I gotta get me some Eli Stone artwork. Although he did do a pinup of my character, which will be fully published later this year. Trying to get that all wrapped up. Now I'm not going to be able to do the whiteout since I'm going to color this thing. So there's going to be some, okay, cool. Yeah. Since it'll be in color, I'll add the whiteout at the end. But what I plan on doing is, do this opening, having just a little bit of the white be some of the bricks, the mortar between the bricks. There's a couple of sketch covers I did. There's one that has the entire cast and crew of the current Tick comics on the wall at NEC in Quincy for sale. It's expensive just because it's got everybody on it, but I think it came out real nice. It's on a New York Comic Con blank from a couple of years ago. I don't remember what Tom has it listed for. But if I get ahead of these commissions, I'll probably pump out a few sketch covers to have at the New England Comics in New Bedford, and they'll probably throw them on their eBay store. So I want to support those guys. Local comic shops probably taking a hit right now, and they help me a tremendous amount. So if I can do sketches, and I'm talking to them about what'll happen if Free Comic Day is affected by all this stuff. I was talking about doing just a giant well, we usually raffle it off. I think people would really like that. But if we want to, keep that stuff, if you would like me to have it, I would graciously accept it. But I like getting it out to the people. Where was I going? But Free Comic Book Day, yeah. If this stuff affects Free Comic Book Day, I was talking about signing tons of copies of the new issue so that they're at all the NEC stores, and that way, people can have something nice to look forward to. And I think NEC is doing curbside drop-off for comics. If you call ahead, they'll bring your pull to the curb. They'll bring it out to your car. Uh, I was going to do a big pile of quick tick sketches like I usually do. And that way, like before, if you buy something, you can get a free sketch. At least that's what I'm trying to get them prepared for in case it does affect, all this lunacy does affect that far into May. Thanks very much, Eli. You have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much for hanging out. Always good to talk to you. I think I'm going to save the cast shadows for the coloring. Maybe. No. Yes, no. I can't decide yet. I think because I did the cast shadow over here that I have to do it over here. Otherwise, this might not make sense. I actually ran into a problem with the scale of the turtles in the interconnecting covers that we did last year with the TMNT 98 and the New York Comic Con Tick Special. Truth be told, there was no plans to do interconnecting covers until after I had done the Turtles one, at least on NEC's part. But once they saw it, they really liked it, and they wanted to figure out a way to have them play off of one another. And doing sort of a parody of my own stuff These are cast shadows from the lights above, and you'll be able to tell when I color and put in some brick lines what those are. I know it's kind of against the rules, but I'm going to go right along the edge with this. Because I think that this pipe would cast a little bit of a shadow there. And we'll go through like that. Screw that up. Oh well, close enough. Thanks, Jess. Have a good night. Ooh, knees are getting stiff. At some point, I'll figure out how to do one of these while I'm sitting down instead of standing up. But have a good night, Jessica and Ryan. Thank you again. back room cleared out. Yeah, if I'm going to be doing these all day Saturday, I'm going to have to figure out a way to adjust my setup so I can have a chair part of the time. Not all the time. It's good to stand up while I'm working, but to be able to alternate would be good. I think it would help my productivity. Yeah. it'll just be helpful, you know, being able to switch back and forth. Played a lot of hockey and baseball, and my knees and my back are not the best. Not that this is, you know, manual labor or anything. It's just standing for this long is tougher. I saw a picture of John Byrne's studio, artist at Marvel, DC for many years. And he has like this giant chair. It looks like his chair out of like a fighter jet in his studio. It's just massive. It was like comedically large chair. It's like the type of chair they'd have in like a cartoon at the end of like a giant desk. Like a fancy schmancy executive chair. Yeah. My old man sells furniture. You'd think he'd be able to hook me up with a pretty sweet chair. Were you a big Game of Thrones fan? I don't have HBO, so I never got to watch it, but I'm sure once it's on, if I ever get HBO streaming, I'll be able to watch it then. Oh, very cool. Did you get into the books? Were you a fan of the books before the show, or did the show get you into it? Or yeah, if I ever get the streaming stuff, I'll check it out. I mean, I'm definitely a big fantasy fan, as you know. I just don't have HBO, so I've missed out on a lot of that stuff. I watch some of the shows post their things online, like John Oliver posts his show on YouTube. Yeah, I was familiar with the books, but I didn't read them. I read a ton of fantasy in like high school and stuff, and I've since gone back. But I think I was like in a big science fiction kick at the time, and I just didn't check them out. I was just amazed that a fantasy show, like a genre television show like that, became like the biggest show on the planet, which it was pretty cool. You know, genre fiction has really gained a lot of acceptance that it didn't used to have. I love it, but as far as getting like giant blockbuster films, Academy Award winning films with the Lord of the Rings stuff. Hey, that is okay. I'm a lot better with that than I am with like just excessive violence. I do gore. I have a little trouble with, to be perfectly honest. That's why my horror fandom only goes so far. Gotta get those veins in their arms. I am all for strong female characters, especially in fantasy books. Well, maybe you will like my Acts of Helena comic book when it finally gets finished and comes out. Got some drawings by some pretty great artists. Newer artists, older artists, artists that go back to like the Silver and Bronze Age. I've had commissioned pinups from. I've been trying to get Bob to do something for me, but it's tough to get him to. He's so busy with the NEC stuff, and he's got stuff he's doing at home, like some renovations to his house, so he doesn't have a lot of time. I keep bugging him. I thought he would do a great. I don't yet, just because I would like. I'm trying to have stuff for San Diego, um, but with everything that's going on, I don't know how everything is going to get affected by it. I've been working on both that and the Undersea Hero stuff, just in between things, because it kind of like relaxes different parts of my brain. Like when I want to be goofy, I work on Undersea Hero and have free time. When I want to be goofy and I have time to work on my own stuff, Undersea Hero. When I want to do like action-y fantasy stuff, I work on Acts of Helena. And I would think that I probably could just start posting the stuff, but I don't want to put myself into a corner where I miss an online release date just because some other gig comes up. I want to have enough weeks worth of content so that I have a really big buffer. You know, and I keep trying to. I've shopped Helena around to some other publishers, and that's kind of what held it up. You know, and some of them showed interest and they liked the idea and stuff, and then it's, well, you need to have a completely finished book for us to take it, and I don't know. Independent comics are very difficult, and sometimes when it comes to the small press stuff, the amount of money you make off of it isn't really that different. Isn't all that different between self-publishing and indie publishers. Sometimes they're just, a lot of those places now are really just looking for stuff to try to sell as TV or movies or whatever. I don't know if anything that I've created has that veneer to it. Maybe it has, I don't know. But I tend to think of my stuff as comic books. Like how Eric Larson always talks about why there hasn't been a Savage Dragon movie, and it's because he just thinks about the comics. Some of that stuff is so far outside of my view. I think it was weird enough working on the Tick comic when all that Tick stuff was at San Diego for the TV show. Like I had nothing to do with the TV show, but just seeing all those big signs and everything, it was very cool. It was really cool to see how happy Gabe was when he was checking that stuff out. I don't know him. He just talks about that stuff on Twitter, and I've talked to him at conventions before, very briefly, and I even wrote a fan letter to Savage Dragon a number of years ago. don't think he would remember me for any reason. There's some pros that I do know, and they do remember me, but I wouldn't expect Mr. Larson to remember me. I'd probably talk to him at like 5 or 6 conventions over the years, and I'm just another artist that comes up and is like, "Hello, Mr. Larson, how are you? I like your work. Remember that time when you drew Doom Patrol? That was awesome." Oh, that's cool. He did some stuff in the indie scene, years ago before he was in charge of the new indie scene at Image. Like he did stuff for AC Comics. He did stuff for Renegade, which was the company that Ditko and Robin Snyder were doing all the content for. I think Trina Robbins did something in one of those with those folks. I opted not to have the pipes and stuff here, but I am going to put one of those little wheelie things in the background because I think they're cool. Well, because we're going to color this, I think we're pretty much in the clear for tonight. I'm going to keep tweaking some of the shadows, making sure that there's enough separation for things. Thanks, Desiree. And we're pretty much done for the night, so you have a lovely evening and enjoy your dinner. And thanks for everybody that hung out. And it's not many folks left, but hope everybody has a great evening, and I'll see you Saturday. Night.